Hey, it's Saturday morning, and I got a good group of guys together. We got Jason, Ryan, and David. I think you guys have seen us before, but we're here to talk about the Niners, and we're going to talk just a little bit about the Rams. But I got Jason here, and I'm going to turn it over to Jason so we can hear what Jason has to say. If you don't know, Jason has a 49ers website, and it's 49ers Cap, I believe. And you can go there and you can take a look, and he's got all the numbers. He's got everything. So, Jason, I want to hand it to you and tell us a little bit about what's going on with the 49ers cap, what's going on with the restructuring, the Bosa signing. The floor is all yours.
No problem. Okay, with Nick Bosa, let's start there. That deal, it's great to have Nick signed long term. Um, the terms, I actually have them written down and everything. He got a lot guaranteed. 88 million fully guaranteed, 122 and a half total guaranteed. And he took a 7 mil pay cut this year, basically. It dropped his number by almost like $7 million this year. So that was pretty good. Restructure wise, right now they restructured the contracts with, obviously we all know, Eric Armstead, Trent Williams, George Kittle. Right now they're sitting at over $42 million in salary cap space. And while I can see them making a move in season to bring someone in, I think they're carrying it over to next year just because their cap isn't, I don't want to say bad, but it isn't great for next year. I think I have them 31 million over. That includes the Nick Bosa deal. So basically, I see them carrying over as much as possible to 2024.
Either that or like you bring in someone really big if you know that will be the one piece to get you the Super Bowl. Even though it tanks you, you get the trophy, and there we go, 6, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's going to cost much cap wise to bring in someone. A lot of players, by the time the trade deadline comes, you're basically paying them half of what they're scheduled to make. Like how we only had to pay McCaffrey like 600 grand or something like that. It was something crazy like that because the other portion of his contract was paid by the Carolina Panthers for the weeks that he was on their roster.
We we mugged the Carolina Panthers. I didn't know we straight held them up at gunpoint. Like we felt sorry for him and gave him some picks. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Holy Jesus. Holy moly.
yeah. We
600.
gave them 4 picks for who I think is going to be the NFC or the NFL Offensive Player of the Year this year. Offensive Player of the Year.
Shout out to Paul Hope.
All right. Levi's is great. I was there for the opener in 2021. Didn't end great, but had a blast.
Even in a loss, you gotta somehow have some fun. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
yeah,
When you're
yeah.
at the game, you gotta figure out some way to appreciate it. Unless
So
it's
you,
like one of those games that stops you from going to like the playoffs or something. You know what I mean? Like that's the only
Yeah,
time where You should let
So you were
something
at,
like that linger.
you were at the Packer Niner game 2021.
Yep. Mhm.
I was there too. I
Oh
was there.
man,
Um,
man.
really really cool. I got to bring the family and
Hmm.
uncle and aunt. They went, and I didn't know they went because they were being super cool and coy about it. They were in the
Hmm.
Bay Area. They're from Wisconsin and Indiana. They were in the Bay Area, so they're Packer fans, obviously. And
Obviously.
then he's like, "Hey, I'm getting you. I got a ticket for you. I just, you're a real big fan. You take whoever you want. And I'm standing there. And I'm like thinking about taking my brother, and take your wife, take your brother, whoever you want. And he said my wife first, and I'm like thinking, yeah, I'm taking Tony. And my brother was like, I'll watch your kids, and I'm like, all right. Well, long story short, I ended up buying an additional ticket next to my seat so I could take my daughter. I bought two extra seats, so I had two extra seats. I started asking people. I asked my mother-in-law; she wanted to come. I asked some friends. Nobody wanted to go. I'm like, guys, you just have to get in the car and ride with me. Um, so I don't know, but me and my wife went. I'm trucking up all the way up because we had nosebleeds. I go all the way up, but they are great seats. Any spot, I think, truly in Levi's, you really get to see the field really, really well. So we get
Yeah.
up there, and before the game's over, I find out on my phone that he's actually in the stadium, but I'm not moving from my seat. I got the baby in my arm. I got baby bags around me. I'm not moving, right? So phone died. Didn't get to see him, but he's one of those guys that travel. So I know people say like the Niners travel really, really well. I know Pittsburgh travels really well. The
Yeah.
Packers, the Packers
Oh
travel
yeah.
really
Yeah.
well. They really do.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
so
I had really good seats. A friend of mine who used to be a season ticket holder, he generously gave me his other seat that he normally would either sell or give to a friend. And we sat there, and where Ayuk scored the touchdown in the end zone of that game? I was in that part of the end zone.
okay, so you are in the north end zone, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I think so. Where they I could see right where they were coming out of the tunnel across from me, all the way
Okay,
on
yeah,
the other
you're the north.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the North is the same end zone that Trey Lance scored the first touchdown of the game in. I think that's the same area. So it's funny. I got to go to. It's not funny. It's kind of weird, but I like finding things out. And I like things that are similar. So went to the Packer Niner game. That was like officially Trey Lance's first game. I went to the Bronco Niner game, the preseason game, which is officially Trey Lance's last game.
Hmm.
Um, just a little weird. Did you see the trade coming at all, or the I don't know the divorce? Did you see it coming at all, Jason?
Um, when they announced that Sam was the second quarterback, I was like, they can't possibly keep Trey at his cap number. But I was caught off guard when they announced the trade on NFL Network. I didn't think it was going to happen, but it sucks. It sucks because we all thought he was going to be the quarterback of the future, but now it's Brock Purdy, so it looks like it's Purdy, and he looks really good.
I'm upset that he left, but I think I'm upset more that they sent him to Dallas.
Dallas, yeah, that was the one thing that I know. It was either Jerry Rice or Steve Young said that he was upset that they sent him to the Cowboys. But I
Hey,
guess I guess they gave us the best offer that was out there. So
We
so
understand. Go ahead, Brian.
I figured out how camels with two humps came about. I got a little graphic here. I wanted to show people. Tommy's in the chat. I seen this, and I gotta let him see it.
If you know, you know. If you don't, now you know. Every day you can wake up and learn something totally different, totally new.
So when you see
So,
Tommy, you know the truth.
so what I understand with the Cowboys taking over Trey Lance, they took over his entire contract. So the Niners are now off the books, except for what, a little bit of dead money. Is that true?
Yep. They're off basically everything except for about 5 million next year. So they saved, I think it was 5.31 million next year,
Can
which
you
helped.
can you explain why you would restructure so many contracts one year to just roll the money over next year, and how, like, the strategy behind it and how it plays out in the long run?
Yeah, I think you restructure the contract obviously to get cap room. That's the obvious. Everyone, I think, knows that. But to do so many in one off season, this and this close to the season, uh, you do it basically to have the cap room just in case someone's available, so you're going to pick them up. But you also do it to have a nice cushion of money to carry over. And I think it's smart to do it a year in advance because even though you're borrowing from the future cap, you're still you're you're basically getting extra cap room. I mean, next year if they basically say they hadn't restructured Trent Williams' contract, well then that 15 million they save from his contract, they wouldn't have that to roll over next year and help them with the cap situation. So by doing it now, it really helps when they roll it over into next year for next year's cap.
Do you think this might be like them being safe and trying to have maybe just a little insurance and stuff, maybe in case Brock Purdy does go down? Do you see them just holding this money for maybe a quarterback?
That's an interesting. That's interesting.
Do you think it's trying to secure that 2-year window this year and next year?
Yeah, I think it's to secure the window as long as possible. And I believe that the money they're rolling over next year when they do it is going to help bring back. It's going to help keep guys like Hufanga, Banks, Brandon Ayuk. So I would say that quarterback wise, if something bad happens to Purdy, I think it's Darnold's job. If something bad happens to Darnold, then our
Brandon
season's
Allen.
over. Brandon Allen, exactly.
Who knows? It might not be over. Just as
Yeah.
long as we don't have Johnson back there. Holy Jesus.
Nah, he's with the Ravens, so
You keep him, please.
yeah.
So that's something to think about. If we was to have to go and pull a quarterback from somewhere, right? Jason, who would you think the Niners would reach out to? I know everybody would probably would like to hear or would assume Tom Brady at first. And I think with the amount of money that we have, we probably could sign him if something happened this year or next year. Bad, right? Right now,
Right.
Purdy's our guy. But who else, would you consider or think the Niners? When they said Philip Rivers last year, I was actually really surprised. I thought,
Yeah.
that was, but they seemed to have some kind of strings or some kind of contact with him.
I thought he
Yeah.
called them up.
I think he was interested, but I think somebody
Okay.
started talking. But you might be right. But for them to still have contact with him and keep the talk going, is he cheap enough or is he the right fit?
Because what I heard was he called him up and was like, hey, I can play. And they were like, "Hey, we'll keep that in mind. I really appreciate the call." That's what I thought I heard was what happened. But
Okay, yeah, I'll go back and look because I was really interested in that. I know we called Big Ben, and he said no, he's a
Yep.
Steeler.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know that happened.
Quarterback wise, who we would probably go after, people are gonna hate the name Kirk Cousins.
Oh,
Because we could potentially poach him this year if we had to, huh?
did we
Yeah.
just see? We don't.
We don't want.
We don't.
I don't want him. We just saw him. I don't know if it's the offensive line in Minnesota is so bad, or it's him, or it's just a combination of both. But
It to me, when I watched that game, it looked like the team was being primetime Kirk in the beginning. Like the team was messing up, right? Then it seemed like they shook it off, but he couldn't, and it got worse for him. You know what I mean? And why
Yeah.
other aspects of the team were starting to make a fight for it, he couldn't pull through on his end. So I'm like, what is? But the whole team looked like shit at the beginning. I'm just saying, the Vikings looked like crap at the beginning, but it seemed like the defense started to try and do well. You know what I mean? They were trying to at least put something, and Kirk couldn't do anything for them.
See, and I kind of disagree. When I seen it, sure, the Eagles and the Vikings were kind of, neck and neck there at the beginning. And then Kurt had that, it was like a 70-yard pass or something like that. He's like, the dude's got it. He's got it. He just has to have, other things around him. Maybe he doesn't have enough to win it on his own, but he does have good playmakers. There was I think it was the defense jumped off sides and he knew it was a free play, and he still threw it to his wide receiver on the left side of the field. And the dude reached up, almost caught it, with one hand. So I think they just got behind themselves a little bit, but as a team, they lost. I don't think it was really just all on Kurt. He didn't really kept getting hit back there a lot. And I was surprised that he did as well as he did against the defense, because Philly's still pretty good. Even though they're not as good as they were last year, they're still really good. So
yeah,
Okay.
and Philly sorry, Minnesota was without their starting center, which kind of
hurts a lot. Go ahead, David.
Yeah.
If something happens to Brock Purdy, I have so much faith in Sam Darnold. I'm confident that our season's over. Now, and when it comes to Kirk Cousins, prime time, under the lights, in the playoffs, it would be very similar to having James Richard Garoppolo with a stronger arm.
I
the guy hasn't.
One second, gotta stop you. We have royalty in the house. I think this is the first time ever coming to my channel. So if you don't mind subscribing, thank you so much for coming. You're everywhere. You really do show off your fanhood. And hey, it's Rams week, so we're gonna get into it. Stick around,
Hey,
and we'll get into that.
This actually reminds me. I never got to wish everybody a happy F the Lambs week.
Hey, David, you should make that a short. You should turn that into a short, just so you know. Figure out how to edit and make that your first short.
But yeah, David.
Yeah, that's something. And when it comes to QBs trading Trey Lance to the Cowboys, it was shocking. But at the same time, there's more than likely multiple reasons they traded him. Number one, they said, "Yeah, you're QB3." He said, "Bruh, QB3 doesn't even get like scout team reps in practice. You got, please trade me. I need an opportunity somewhere." And then at the same time, John Lynch being a former player, there was a lot of players that were backing Trey Lance. So, do we need a split locker room? No, we don't need a split locker room. So there's multiple reasons they traded him, and it really sucks because he was the third overall pick. He does have very high ceiling and upside, but we haven't. He wasn't properly developed with us, and now he's over with the Cowboys, where the third QB does get reps in practice, and he'll get some work in. Well, hopefully he doesn't become that great quarterback that he can for them. You know, but at the same time, I don't want to see the kid fail. You know,
Yeah.
our cap room, I don't think we have it for any in particular reason other than to ease up a lot next year's hits, because I think a lot of contracts come up. There was a lot of speculation. We're gonna go get Brian Burns. I wasn't necessarily against it. But at the same
Right.
time, we go get him. It's the last year of his contract. We have to extend him, and there we go. We have another big contract on the books. Goodbye, Ayuk. Goodbye, Hufunga. Goodbye. We're not going to be able to keep our core players around that we've drafted and built, and that's how this team is built. So, at this, and I was saying, let's see what Drake Jackson can do. He 15% of the snaps last season. He had 3 sacks, 8 batted balls. Was among the league leader in batted balls, and only played 15% of the snaps. So let's see what this guy can do. This kind of athletic freak that can, bend around people, and he's played linebacker and defensive end in college, so we know he has the athleticism. And here he comes right out the gate with 3 sacks. I hope he keeps that up, but we'll see. As long as he
Yeah,
keeps
me
on
too.
getting pressures and gets like a sack every other game. I mean, get
And
8 to 11 sacks total for the season. I would be ecstatic with that for the other defensive end opposite of Bosa.
Those sacks that he got too it wasn't like it was schemed up. They were all on like jailbreak. There's like pressure everywhere, and he was just being observant. And the quarterback on at least the first 2 sacks is climbing the pocket, and he just spin moves and goes around and sacks him. So I mean, like, he's just being observant. So that's handy, especially when we have a defensive line like we saw last week. Who knows if it'll keep up through the season, but people were on notice last week. The Steelers' offensive line did not love their life. Now, I believe the Rams have a good offensive line, a better offensive line. So we'll see what goes up against the Rams. I'm really interested on how our offensive line does against their defensive line. Not necessarily Aaron Donald, because we seem to scheme for him, but I'm talking about the defensive line as a unit. If other guys on their line can step up and kind of cause trouble when he's being schemed.
Hey, I think we had a show a couple weeks ago, and we were breaking down, who's got a better O line and who's got a better, kickers, and I'm not gonna, hit the table too hard, but I think I said the Rams might have the best O line. At this point, they kind of do. They look a lot more.
Show your chest a little more. There you go.
But
Buff it out a little bit.
Shout out to the Rams and all the Rams fans in here. Really appreciate you guys coming through. It is Rams week. And if anybody wants to put in the chat why you guys wear watermelons on your head, we understand the cheese heads. We understand Packers. So, but yeah, if you guys notice the thumbnail, you can get you a fancy watermelon to put on your head and go root for those Rams. And hey, if that's what you guys are down to and into, hey, more power to you. Everybody's got their own thing. But yeah, we're going to go down there, and it sounds like it's a 60-40 49er fan advantage right now. We have the ticket sales, it sounds like. So we are going to be wearing our red, even though it's supposed to be a white jersey for us on the field. But we're going to red out that whole stadium.
Yeah.
Rank it out, red it out, right? And it's going to be a lot of fun. So
that's the fans away jersey is the red.
Yep.
We're here.
See, I don't understand Dallas being white, and then they just want to wear white everywhere. Basically, it's like I just don't get that. But white looks like to me like you're surrendering. So red, we're going to battle. We're going to.
I think it was their way of being class, like their look of class. But also, remember, Jerry Jones tried to bar young black children from getting into his school. So, just saying, just saying. Who knows what
we
it could
get to
mean?
wear our home jerseys, and it's very fitting because like 70% of that stadium will be 49ers fans. So, it's our home away from home, Levi's Inglewood. Um, I'm honestly, the one thing that worries me about them is all the unknowns, all the players we haven't played against. We know their coaches, we know their coaches, we know what they like to do, we know the scheme, and we know what to do against it. But at this point, we have players that it's kind of a question mark. What is this guy actually going to do? And that's the one thing that kind of worries me. But they're all like their defense. They have Aaron Donald and what? The Ernest Jones, their best linebacker doesn't want to play the 49ers itis. He's ill. So, and I can't blame him. I wouldn't want to play the 49ers either if I was him. You know.
It's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
How are you thinking about the Rams right now, currently, Jason? Are you a little bit more surprised, or is it just week one?
I was surprised at how easily they beat the Seahawks, but then again, week one is so unpredictable that you never know what happens. But I don't want to be cocky and say, "Oh, we're gonna blow them out," but I do think we win the game. But I think I mean, they got some good players: Puka Nakua, Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson, Cam Akers, Tyler Higbee. Those are good offensive players, but they're without Cooper Cup. And on defense, I mean, who besides Aaron Donald do they have really? They traded Jalen Ramsey away. I just hopefully we can just run on them and throw, just be multi-dimensional.
Well, Puka Nakua is even on he's on their injury report right now as
Yeah,
questionable.
yeah.
And it's like you guys are hosed. Their center is also injured. So, here it is. It's going to start for them all over again. And I'm honestly not going to be happy until I see, like, I'm going to be keeping my eye on things during the game. But if I don't see Kelly Stafford complaining on Instagram or Twitter, I will not be happy.
All right, so I'm thinking it's kind of funny that the Rams ended up with the Cowboy kicker. Just think that's really funny. Hey, everybody needs a job. You got to go somewhere, and I'm glad he didn't come where we. I'm glad we didn't pick him up. So, and Robbie Gold's not signed yet either, and I think that's interesting. A lot of people were all when we did the renegotiating. Oh, we're gonna get Robbie Gold, but I don't know. I'm still sticking with Moody. And
Wait,
yeah.
How is renegotiating? Who was the last deal we renegotiated? Like, and that was the buzz.
Trent Williams,
Armstead
Armstead.
to give us like 40 million in cap. We only need 5 for Robbie. Like, what is that last thing? You know what I mean?
Right,
I'm not
right.
saying you said that, but I just think that talk was hilarious.
Yeah. When we
Where
got
are we
rid of
gonna-
first
Yeah.
when we got rid of Trey, they were like, "Oh, we could go get Robbie," and then that dialed down, and we're like,
Trey
"Wait,
cost us money. It didn't give us money. It cost us money. What are you talking about?
But a lot of people were saying it, and then I wasn't saying it, but then we get to the point where we started doing all these restructures and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, now we can go get a kicker." It's like we have 2 kickers already, guys. But yeah, Really, really a lot of fun. I don't see them doing anything with this money just yet. I think they just keep it in their pocket. A lot of people are saying go get a right tackle. I don't think they're getting a right tackle. What do you think, Jason?
No, I mean, who's out there really, realistically? Who is out there at right tackle worth the money? I mean, Jason Peters just got signed, I think, by Seattle. I can't remember. Uh, no, unless a team is doing really, really bad and they're willing to trade their right tackle, I think it's very slim.
I
Yeah,
I totally think they're holding this bag as insurance. This is insurance if they need to go out and get somebody to push them over the top, or it's to pay for everything next year. Because look, if they go and get somebody, right, and they use up, let's say, 10 mil, 15 mil, right, then you suspected they need like 30, 31 million to take care of the cap for next year, right? So if they spend 15 out of the 40, then they need to go and restructure somebody next year in the offseason for about 5 mil. You know what I mean? And then they can get everything under the cap and do everything they need to do. But they got themselves a bag. They got the money they think they'll need to handle all the business, plus a little bit more just in case they need to do something. And that's all I see. Unless they're trying to use this money to pay somebody like 3 years up front. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then they're going to have to go in the offseason and do a whole bunch of other restructuring. I don't think so. Uh-oh. He's got a stogie and a bat.
Yeah, real easy. Real easy to be talking that junk when you ain't got to play. I hear you, Ramelia.
Oh,
that's
see
not, you, Rams.
That's not Ramelia. That's Steve-O.
Yeah, it's not the real Rudy. I'm not.
They've been in the chats. No, they've been in the chats and they've been chirping for a long time. Hey, you got about 24 hours. That's how Michael Jordan do it. Real easy. We gonna see you. I'm calling the 40 burger. Who with me?
All right. We got a bunch of people in the chat, right? We got a good question. Okay, where are the Rams really from? And if you know, put it in the chat. David.
Parts unknown, Texas.
Anybody remember the Drew Carey show? Yeah. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah.
Yep. The Rams are the original Cleveland team. They are, and I bet you can't guess what colors they used to wear. David, don't say anything. If anybody in the chat wants to guess the colors,
it's got to be red and gold.
So if you heard that, you definitely heard correct. The Rams are not a blue and yellow or a white and blue or blue and gold team. Their colors have changed quite a bit, and they've moved a little bit, and actually quite a bit. We give the Raiders a bad name. We call the Raiders the Nomads, right? But I kind of really truly think that the Rams
are the hoes.
They get around. I mean, let's talk about it, right? They went to Cleveland, then they went to LA, then they went to St. Louis, then they went back to LA. I mean, like they're gonna move again. Don't say they're moving to Santa Clara. Don't do it, guys. But it's really, really interesting that they wouldn't let the Raiders move to LA, and I think the Rams had a big part in that. The Raiders and the Niners have a huge fan base in LA, and after the Rams left, and I think it was 94, 95 is when they left. LA said, that's good. That's fine. We have 2 college football teams. So you got USC and you got UCLA. I mean, what else do you need, right? You got Trojans and Bruins. And I mean, like, what else do you need? It's just, they got 2 basketball teams. They got 2 baseball teams. Dude, they have a hockey team. What else do you So now they got football back. And it's a little weird that they have the San Diego Chargers, who had a great fan base. And for whatever reason, they need a new stadium. So they move into the Ram Stadium, which is funny because they only have to pay like $1 every year for rent. Their rent's very, very, I don't know. It's like, how do you finagle? How do you get somebody to build you a stadium and you basically get to live there rent free? And it doesn't make sense, guys. It doesn't. You had the Raiders, black and silver, right? You have the Rams, blue and gold, blue and yellow, yellow and white, whatever, white and blue, whatever. Chargers, blue and gold, yellow, what? It's just, you got a different hue, little different color of yellow, little different shade of blue. I mean, I don't know. Both teams, since they've moved to LA, have kind of taken over more of a internet logo. And I can't explain it, but if you guys go back and you look at the Rams logo, somebody drew it and really didn't do them justice at all. And I'm not going to put it up on the screen, but you can go look at it and just look right there in the middle of and use your adult mind. And they need somebody better to draw a Rams logo. I don't know what was wrong with the Rams logo before. They've had mascot changes. They don't seem to be able to stick with whatever they are doing. And I don't know, guys. They had a great fan base in St. Louis. That was a really, really hard stadium to go play in. It was an old stadium. They could have rebuilt, but instead the Niners moved, right? We can all say the Niners moved from San Francisco, and a lot of us are mad and still mad, and we'll probably never get over it. But they only went south just a little bit, and they got a new stadium. They're closer to where they practiced at, so there was a lot of benefits to them going to Santa Clara. But that's not our ideal spot. But you guys aren't even in LA. You guys are in Inglewood, so don't come chirping like that. And as far as the VHS tapes and stuff, we've been to 2 Super Bowls since then. We've been robbed, but
can you really take shots at them for being in Inglewood when we're in Santa Clara?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
They can't take shots at us for being in Santa Clara, and you're actually in Inglewood. I mean, it happens with a lot of NFL stadiums. Dallas is not in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's in Frisco, Texas, and we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks.
The Seahawks Stadium was going to be in Everett, about 30 minutes north of Seattle, but then they found room and they just knocked the one down and built the other one up.
The Washington football team doesn't play in downtown DC RFK anymore. They're in Maryland.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's Maryland.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Giants and Jets.
The Cowboys play in Arlington.
Yeah.
The Giants and Jets play in New Jersey. I mean, the Rams play in Inglewood. Arizona plays into where they claim. They have the whole state, so that's kind of.
I think Green Bay will probably be the only stadium that will probably always stay in that one town that it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably the only one that will just stay, because as time goes on and on, that space in the cities is going to be very crucial, and they're going to be like, you know what, we could make a whole lot of money by just building this up over here, and we could probably even get the people that want to build the buildings here to pay for the state. Oh, that's a great idea. You know what I mean? So that's how I see things going.
Good folks up there too in Green Bay.
Yes.
The one thing we can say is we don't share our NFL stadium with another team, though. It's kind of like
it is true.
Minnesota might be another place. Like the Vikings, they might stay in their city, but they're also the Minnesota Vikings. But
yeah.
You're muted, Bryant.
That's another thing. We don't seem to have to change our logo. We've had a little bit of minor, changes, but it's always been red and gold. The SF is still there. But the Rams, they do seem to have to rebrand themselves every once in a while. And it doesn't matter if they stay in the same city or if they seem to lose. lose and move on. They just, I don't know. It's just something weird about them. Let's go. I had a picture, and I'm going to pull it up and I'll put it on the computer real quick. But just so you guys can see the color scheme, I was going to put it on the overlay, but then that covers up everybody's face. But here it is.
Ain't nobody need to see my face.
Nobody needs to see your face. That's what they look like. Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, wow.
Red helmets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
I was thinking Kansas City. Yeah. Kansas City.
When they're in Cleveland, this is what they look like. Let's see if I can get it bigger. Let's go down here. Again, sorry for the technicalities, but they were red and dark blue.
Wow.
The Cleveland Rams. So you go from being dark blue and red to yellow and red. Okay. And then you drop the red and you're now blue and white, blue, white, and yellow. Okay. Okay. I mean, what else can we say? I mean, that's almost like going full circle, right? It's like we don't wear really black uniforms. The Raiders, they don't wear red uniforms, but the Rams wear whatever, right? But they just show up, right? That's because they don't have a place. They keep just moving around. So every time they move around, they have to find a new niche, a new style. Somebody else to start saying, "Oh man, that's the swag. That's what I want to start rocking and wearing. I'm going to root for you guys." Okay,
They're like intramural teams.
Now, this isn't a show just to dog the Rams or anything like that, but I do have to say, hey, you guys did a really great job. You did say F those picks, and you win and won the chip. Sadly, it was against us getting to the Super Bowl, but I'm ready to do it, guys. I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to say, hey, F those picks, but I'm glad they don't listen to me, because what they've done with the structure and all the renegotiations and what they've done in just the last 3 weeks, I'm glad I'm not in the front office. I can tell you that, because I think we do have a 2-year window still, just like what you guys were saying earlier. There's an opportunity for us to, something happens bad, we can go get somebody. We can get anybody. It's almost, I don't like saying it, but we could buy anybody, right? It's like, you want a car. We can all have new cars. But I'm just really excited. I think this is going to be a little bit tougher of a game for us coming that we weren't expecting. But I think once we start playing, they're going to understand we're not Seattle. We're not Seattle at all, and they are still the same. They are still the same Rams. They're probably going to go third place in their division unless Seattle just really can't pick up the steam. And right now, Seattle going against Detroit this weekend. I don't know about Seattle this week, guys.
That could be a little tougher than it has been in years past. I know that Detroit's playing some good ball. They're playing good ball. Better clean up some things, Seattle. I watched the all 22s, and their offensive line, man, is a little suspect. Gino's getting happy feet a little bit, and it looks like DK's a little dejected. I mean, he's an emotional guy anyway, but he just seems so, just and that defense, man, Bobby Wagner is not the Bobby Wagner we knew in 2012, 2013, 2014. It's a little older. The secondary is good. It's got ballers, it's got playmakers, but that ain't the same Seattle.
So, Jason, we got you here. Tell us a little bit about your website.
What up, Collie?
Okay. 49erscap.com. It's basically just a 49ers website where I cover all salary cap related stuff for the 49ers. It's basically simple. The name's simple, 49erscap.com. To me, it's simple. Basically, what I do is I crunch the numbers. I make sure, I see where we are. But the website's pretty. I don't want to say basic, but there's a lot of information on there. It's not gonna. Not everyone is gonna understand the stuff, and that's okay. Hey, if you want to ask me questions on X now, if you want to call it X or Twitter, at 49ers Cap. So, yeah.
I've been meaning to check it out, man. I heard you got some real in-depth information. Sorry, Brandon.
Yeah. No, you're wonderful. Definitely check it out. And we're going to go ahead and put the link in the description. Tony, if you can Google the link and throw it in the chat, it would be great for me. What I like about it is you have the roster, all the people who's on the roster. You almost update faster than the 49ers. I think you really do update faster than the 49ers roster does. Their team page does. And you have the contracts broken down. You have the players on the practice squad there, and it's really easy to read. It's not like you made it too easy. It's basic, and it's basic information that you want to be able to quickly find. And when I was actually doing my roster breakdown with Terradome here and Tony, we went on the East Coast Red and Gold and give our humble opinions. Me and Tony used a lot of what you were saying to project our roster breakdown. So yes, everybody, please take a look at Jason's website because he's always doing this all year long. And if you ever have a question, this is the man with the numbers. This is the man you ask. So I said it a lot, because when we talked, you said, I think Bosa is going to get 35 to 40 million. I kept repeating what you said, and you said there was a way. And there definitely is a way. And I'm just glad we got this man paid. Now this has been something thrown out there several times. And again, in your opinion, do you ever can you see Big Brother Bear coming on the team?
Maybe down the road, but not at this moment. I can't foresee it really. It'd be tough to get Joey Bosa.
Yeah, Joey Bosa would have to be on the decline maybe after his second bag. You think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see us moving off. I don't see us moving off of Nick Bosa, but Joey Bosa definitely seems like he's interested in leaving the Chargers. He definitely seems like he wants to play with his brother. I mean, when you're wearing a different color jersey, I mean, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. I just, you don't go and work for Bryant Air Conditioning and then go put on, the opposing team. You can't do it, but you can say, oh, I'm supporting my brother, and everybody will give you a humble pass, but still, it's just, so I would love to see it. That's maybe why one of my dreams, wild dreams that could come true. But I agree, like what you guys are saying, it would have to be later on in his decline, or when he's getting closer to retiring. But I could see Mama wearing both colors. It's just gonna say Bosa on the back. I'd love to see one of them wear 9, the other one wear 7. And be out there rushing.
And then Mama's wearing Nick's old jersey where he's 97, and it's both of them together essentially. She just instead of having to put the jerseys together in some weird way,
we could all dream, right? So I
think that would be cool. I like that idea that you had about the numbers. I thought that was a great idea.
Well, guys, we have a lot of great people in the chat, and everybody appreciate y'all for coming. I mean, this chat's just been popping. But we are talking a little bit about the Rams, and I would like to get you guys' final thoughts before we get out of here. If you want to give a score prediction or an early touchdown prediction, definitely want to keep the show to about an hour. Like people be able to get out and do things during the weekends that you need to. I have a honey-do list before a good friend comes over. I got to get a couple things moving around before everything happens. But I am very excited because this is Rams week, and after that we have a shorter week, and it's a Thursday night game, so it's kind of like a mini bye for us after the game. And it's not before the game. It's an early week, but a short week. But I am definitely looking forward to it. But we have to take it week by week, one game at a time. So we are on to the Rams. Other than Matthew Stafford and Donald, I don't really know anybody else on the Rams team right now. And that doesn't mean that they're scrubs or they can't beat us. It just means that we have to go in and still handle business, take care of manage the clock, do what we do, play Niner football. And with that, I see us coming away with a really big victory. I can't see the Rams scoring more than 14, really, honestly, in this game. I think we're going to score at least 30 plus. The Niners now with Brock Purdy, CMC, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, we are averaging 30 points a game. So if it's 30 points and it's fourth quarter and there's 8 minutes left, I want to see Sam Darnold out there. I want Purdy to come off the field. Let Sam play with the starters. Let him play with the starters. Whoever wants to still be out there, Kittle, Debo, whoever wants the ball, But I think at that point you pull CMC out. Let Mitchell run the clock. So, Jason, what's your thoughts on the upcoming Rams? What would you like to see? And let's go around the world, all around the world, everybody.
Yeah, I second that. If we're up big, take Purdy out, take the starters out, let Darnold and whoever wants to play. As for prediction, I think we win, and I think this is the Debo game. I think Debo gets a touchdown. I think Debo plays his best when it's against the Rams, it seems.
And
that play that he made on Monday Night Football. Yeah, when Donald would say Debo, who's Debo Samuel.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You got to use that stuff to your advantage because,
remember,
who was it? There was a running back. We were all like, why'd they put him in this game? And they were like, oh, because he has really good games against this team. I can't remember what running back it was, but I think it was last year. We were like, why is this guy? It could have been the year before that, too. It could have been like Coleman. I think it was Coleman. We had Tevin Coleman, and they were like, why do we have Tevin Coleman in this game? He's like, oh, because he always goes off against this team. You know what I mean? So Kyle does use that to his advantage.
All right. Brian, what's your thoughts? I know you talked a little bit. Do you have any more, or do you want me to pass it to Teardown?
Oh, real quick, I'll just reaffirm what you said about I think they're going to maybe score a max of 14, but I think it's going to be somewhere around 7. It could be 6, like 2 field goals. I don't see them doing much. I see us having two or more turnovers. I think we're going to go after them. And also, I'd like to, if they're going to put Sam Darnold in, I don't want to see him just run this pokey offense. I want to see him trying to run it like Brock Purdy. And I'm not saying that he's got to be throwing it all the time, but I don't want it to be like run, pass on third down. I want to see run on first down, pass on second down. You know what I mean? I want to see it mixed up. I want to see high tempo. I want to see what he can do in our offense just in case somebody gets injured.
Teardown, what do you think, man?
Oh, I'm just always excited for Rams week. Again, I looked at them last week. They Puka Nacua, I think that's what his name is. He was a pretty active, and so was Tutu Atwell. Again, they were running, somewhat basic patterns against a cover 2 and a cover 1 shell. I'm sorry, they went 1 high. Seattle did. We're more of a 2 high shell with Huff and Gibson playmaking, and Seattle really didn't press Matt Stafford very much. I think it'll be the exact inverse coming in tomorrow. Their defense run by Raheem Morris, who used to be with the Tampa Bay Bucks years ago, and I think Denver. They run they come out in a 3-4, and they will run some nickel. They got a cat named Bobby Brown, which being a New Edition fan, you gotta love a guy named Bobby Brown. But and they get a little active naturally. Sam Darnold, I mean not Sam Darnold, I'm sorry, Aaron Donald is there. That's a Freudian slip. Aaron who? But I foresee some good stuff going. Check out an offensive lineman, a right guard named Note Boom. Note Boom. I think he wears number 70, if I'm not mistaken. He looks you always look for the fish, you always look for the stud. Hey, I'm pretty sure that's a fish right there. Somebody's gonna feast. He's got high pads and he's got slow feet, which you can't have in the NFL playing
not a good mix.
I got my eye on you, Mr. Noteboom.
If you're gonna have high pads, at least be able to move and get out of the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's showing that chest, boy, and I got some dogs that's gonna eat that up.
Oh, look at that target! Look at that big thing. Oh, he cleaned it off and rubbed it and shined it up for everything.
What you got, David? What do you think? Same Rams.
Well, at this point, they are rebuilding from their one-hit wonder year a few years ago. And that's exactly what they did. They went all in for like 4 seasons in a row, and they're going to be paying for it for a bit. But at this point, I kind of look at this game like QB-wise, it's the number 1 overall pick against the last pick in the draft. It's like, and QB wins. I honestly don't think it should be a stat because it's the team that actually wins the game. Look what Stafford did in Detroit. Didn't do anything. Then he goes to the Rams super team that they built, and for 1 season, and then he wins a Super Bowl. That's pretty much the whole QB wins thing. You could throw that right away. James Garoppolo wins games, then he hits the playoffs, then he stinks. And that's just a fact. Look at the numbers, folks. But at this point, the Rams are, like I said, rebuilding. They have a ton of young players, and main reason why is because they can't afford everyone else, because they're taking a bunch of cap hits from cutting and getting rid of guys and getting under the cap for this season. So we'll see what happens. It's a divisional matchup. I expect them to put up a fight for about a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half, but then it'll be over. And we'll hear, what Kelly Stafford's thoughts on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Great game. It's going to be, one to definitely watch. Again, it might be closer than what we're predicting, but you never know. It could be a little bit tighter. It could be a little bit further away too. I definitely think 30 points is our, ceiling, our floor. And I think the Rams, we'll see what the Rams do. Matthew Stafford does have a good arm when he's not, having to nurse his elbow. Arm fatigue is real. It really, truly is. But you have to have a good wide receiver to, catch the ball too. So if he doesn't have somebody on the other side, then it doesn't matter. You could have a rocket. If they can't catch it, then it doesn't really matter, right?
Also, if his back injury ever flares up, that can mess with throwing motion. You know what I mean? Once you go to torque it and you get that pain and it kind of messes with your so things can happen.
He is a very, very tough guy. He really is. If people don't know, Stafford took a beating in Detroit, and he really truly did. People don't understand how crucial he really was for the Detroit Lions. One of his first games, he dislocated his arm, I believe it was, or broke his collarbone or something. It's the infamous play where he throws a touchdown, but he broke his back. He truly broke his back playing for the Lions, and I think they really let him down. And his wife has all rights to be upset with the city. The city didn't have their back like you would hope. That if that was our guy, Steve Young or Joe Montana, they didn't really end the way we wanted their careers to end either. But the Niners, the fans didn't run them out of the door. We as fans embraced those guys. Those were our heroes. But it's not about being political either. It's about being a human being. And the Rams, they offered Stafford and his wife a new start, and we should have turned our eyes on them instead of Watson. But we wanted a mobile quarterback. We wanted a younger, somebody with more years, right? And maybe we got greedy there, and tried to reach for the moon when we should have just been trying to just look up into the sky and see a shooting star, because that's exactly what he is right now. He's a shooting star. He made it to the Super Bowl. He'll probably get into the Hall of Fame because of his passing careers. That was his last thing. I don't know how many more years he's really going to be playing, but you got to give him credit. So at this point, Stafford is the best quarterback in the division. And being a Niner fan, I'd love to see Purdy get up there so we can say he's the better quarterback. But truly looking at Stafford, the Niners are going to have a tough time with it. But like you said, if we can get back there and get some hits on him, it's going to slow him down. A cortisone shot, I heard, keeps the doctor away. So we'll just I'm not saying anybody should go get shot up, but there was a point where he was getting nubbed up. So
just get shot up. And I think we went after him too. I think McVay just he beat us to the punch. He went on vacation somewhere in Cabo and just got him before we did. Another thing I heard this week too, man, we were really looking hard at getting Khalil Mack. A deal was set. He said the 49ers came to him and it was ready to go, but them dang on Raiders said, no way, Jose, you're going up north, far away. And they put the kibosh on that as well, man. That would have been something lethal. Khalil Mack and Bosa.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I think we were trying to, if I'm correct, to replace Quan Alexander when we ended up letting him go. It was really close to that time. And shout out to Alexander. He played well against the Steelers. He was the only one that I seen with red hair underneath his helmet. And maybe he still got some love for the Niners, but he made some noise. He really did.
Yeah. Him and Highsmith, he was pretty good.
Hot boys.
And with that, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna Saturday. Thank you for coming. It's we have a coffee talk. Different parts of the country. If you're drinking and you're enjoying the soda, beer, iced tea, something nice to refresh the body. This is a chat that we like to come in and sit down and go around, talk a little bit. You ever want to come in? Try to put it in the chat, and we'll try to make it happen. But thank you very much, Jason, for coming on. We'll have you on again here real soon. You're always welcome. Yep. Guys, this is Jason's website down here below. So if you don't mind, I highly recommend it. Click on it, bookmark it. Jason's always updating. If you want your numbers and you want them as fast as you can get them, they come out faster here than they do actually on the 49ers website. And what they write down is same thing Jason's writing down. They almost take and screenshot what Jason put and copy and paste to their page because it's identical. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Ryan, No Border Sports, he's the realest of us all. We got David McNiner down below. He's got a channel. It's a good channel. Please check it out.
Smoked paprika. Is that the secret ingredient?
That's a secret ingredient for everything.
No.
But subscribe to David. Aerodome as well has a channel. Is blowing up. He's doing great stuff. He has a channel and he does things on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you ever want to call in, he does more likely on Thursdays, I think. But Aerodome goes as long as he has people in the show, and just keeps a good vibe. So thank you guys again for coming. We'll be back tomorrow, but tomorrow will be the shorter show because we're just going to do some breakdowns of the game real quick, and then we're going to get on to barbecuing and doing what we got to do. So again, it's Rams week, guys. Hopefully you can barbecue some lamb chops or something tomorrow, or fry them up in the griddle. I'm from Kentucky, so my mom says we go to the sink to wash up. Okay, so to the zinc to wash up. Okay. So with that, guys,
I never heard that. Okay.
We'll see you guys, and thank you all for coming. You guys have a great day.
God bless.
Go Niners and F the Lambs.
What he said.
Yep. Let's go